Right guys, I'm on a little camping trip in the North York Moors, and I'll put a map up just to show you the location in relation to the UK for those non-UK subscribers, and in the actual area I'm camping in relation to the North York Moors. And I'm at a little place called Cropton, and it's just a tiny little village, and I'm camping here for 3 nights. It's a pub campsite, and the pub's called the New Inn. I'll put details in the information section, and there will be a separate video reviewing the campsite, although it's a short one because it's a very, very small basic campsite. This time of year, late October, the weather can be very changeable, especially when you get into places like the North York Moors. We've just had Storm Barbet hit this area, as well as a lot of the east coast of Scotland. So the roads are pretty debris strewn with leaves and small branches. A little bit of flooding, not too bad, not as bad as in Scotland. The ground's pretty sodden. I arrived here in the sun yesterday, but it's misty, bit overcast today, and forecast for rain tomorrow. So I don't know how much we're going to get filmed. I'll just film what I can. I'll put it out. If it's not really that great filming, I'll just put a very short video out. If it turns out a little bit better than expected, it'll be a bit longer. So I'm just finishing off a coffee, and I'm just going to head off on the bike probably in the next 10-15 minutes. So let's see where we get to, and I hope you enjoy, well, I hope I enjoy the day. So I've just come through Rosedale Abbey. Everything was closed because it's a bit early, so I didn't bother stopping. But I've just climbed out of Rosedale onto the Moor Road, taking me over to a place called Egton. But I wanted to stop here because it's stunningly beautiful, and it gives you a flavour of the moors and of the valleys below. So I'll just show you that very quickly. So after a bit of a round trip across the moors, I've ended up in Gothland. And Gothland is famous for being the fictitious Aidenfield in Heartbeat, which is a TV police drama from the 80s, 90s. And if you know Heartbeat, you'll know Scripps' garage, and I think it was called the Aidenfield Arms in the TV series. It's actually called the Gothland Hotel, but yeah, it's a very touristy place, steam trains and things like that. But if you're a Heartbeat follower, then this is the place to come. Fantastic riding though, in every direction. It's really brilliant. I'll just show you quickly the two locations. There's other film locations here, but I'm not going to wander off too far. Well, that was a tremendous ride over from Gulfland, over the moors, and now starting to drop down toward Pickering, which is just south of the North York moors. Bike's running really brilliantly, and we've got a lovely section of road yet to do in that direction. But I've stopped here for a simple reason. We have a Roman road, and I've actually been here before, and it's you can see the layout of the Roman road. It's an amazing little section. Now this runs for miles and miles, but this is the easiest accessible from the road, and it's called Wheeldale Road. Hopefully you can see this, and actually, just in that direction there, we've got a Roman fort as well. So if I get a chance, I'm going to have a little look at that, although I think I'll have to walk to it from the roadside. But let's go and have a look at this Roman road. Bet you didn't think you were going to get a history lesson. Not really, but it's worth having a little look at this. You can just see the right hand side edging of the road, and you can see it going off into the distance. Don't know how easy this is to see on a camera, but with the naked eye you can see a most definite pathway. And actually, when you take an overview of it on Google Maps, you can see the direction of it as well. I'll put a picture up in the corner for showing you the actual pathway. And we're now just looking at the left-hand side of the road. You can see the stones. Obviously over millennia everything gets moved a bit and stuff gets washed away, but the basics of that road are there. So we're now walking on the Roman road. It would be wrong of me to ride on the Roman road, wouldn't it? Of course it would. This connects two forts, Roman forts. One's, I think it's Cropton or Cropton, and I forget the name of the other one, but I'll put them up on the screen. So we're looking now at the right hand side as you look north of the road itself and the construction of it. And from this angle you can see the stones, and you can see the rays up to the road level. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the ride, and it's just a neat little bit of Roman road that's been pretty much left as it would be abandoned, although I guess it would have been used for centuries afterwards. Time to go though. So we've arrived at that Roman fort that I told you about, and it's called Cropton Roman Fort. You might be able to hear some chainsaws in the background. They're doing some clearance of paths. But anyway, we're just going to walk down. There's a car park which you've seen on the bike footage, and it's about 100 metres or so to the Roman camp. Now, it's basically 3 little camps, as I understand from the information board, built in the late AD 90s through. So quite early on, really. Nice little walk in itself, this. Let's see when we get there. It's a big site, this, when you look at it. You can actually see the ditch, which would be part of their fortifications. Hard to tell from this height, but I'm sure if we had a drone, which I haven't got, we'd be able to see better. Let's have a walk further in. You can see the second ditch there. I presume there was 2 ditches. So when we get up here, you can actually, I can make out now the size of this fort. So where you see all that fern and heather, you can see a ridge, and that's the actual fort going all the way up to where that tree is, or where them trees are in the distance, and then all the way around and back again, where you can see the ridge with ferns, heathers, etc. on. So I'm actually roughly standing in the middle of it now, and it's you know, for what would have been a very wild area when the Romans were here, this is a large fortification. Everything up to the tree lines and the skyline is the fort, apart from this side where it's short of the tree line. So presumably where I'm walking towards is one of the gates, which would be the, I guess, the west gate. The one down where I walked in would be south. And again, very distinct ditches here, and presumably the inner wall would have been a mound with palisade wooden fence. So we have a viewing point here. So the fort is just to my right, and it's built on a high point looking down into the valley and beyond, and that's why this fort was here, to keep control of everything leading in this direction. We actually came from that direction over there on the bike. In Roman times, apparently there would have been very few trees, so this would be a viewpoint that they could scan the entire horizon. Roughly in the direction I'm looking now on the far high point is where I came up from Rosedale, and went over the moors. About 10 miles northeast of here, which is in the direction we're looking, there are camps at a place called Lease Rig, and then another chain of forts stretching across the moors between a place called Malton and the coast. So you can distinctly see why the Romans built the fort where they did. That vast viewpoint they could see for miles and miles in the distance in all directions, facing north, northeast, northwest. The fortification, there's not a lot to see, but you can distinctly see the layout of the actual fort and its defensive ditches. Really interesting. I love Roman history, and it's nice to see Roman history where you get to see like the Roman Wall, Hadrian's Wall. But to be honest, a place like this, it's steeped in history. And so quiet now. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed that brief visit to the Roman fort, and I'm going to get on my way now. Head down to Pickering and just get some fueled up again for tomorrow or the day after. And I'll probably speak to you briefly again, but if not, thanks for following me and thanks for watching. Very, very good.